let's start with our first big segment, which is predictions for the 2022 World Cup. We are going to make our picks for the group stage winners, who we think is going to get to the semifinals and finals, Golden Boot, breakout stars, all that kind of fun stuff. Dark horse team as well. Everyone has one of those, right? Everyone loves to do that every single World Cup. So, Andy, I'm going to come to you first. Getting out of the group, which teams do we think? Let's kind of go through, do a couple each, but let's start with Group A with you. Who do you think is going to get out of that group and why?
At the risk of jinxing myself, I think this might be the most straightforward of all 8 groups that we get, and coming right out of the gate as well. I think Netherlands probably head and shoulders above everybody else in the group. They're young and a little bit inexperienced internationally from missing a World Cup last time around, just like the U.S. But what we saw from them in qualifying, I think, is really, really solid. I think they know who they are. They're going to be really good in possession. I think they're going to be really good going forward. So I think Netherlands gets through, and Senegal, even though they've got injuries with Edouard Mendy being in and out of the team for Chelsea, Sadio Mane's situation very much up in the air. I think the talent and the experience as well, what they did last summer in Africa, I think that is really going to help this team get through the group stage at least, and then maybe make some noise in the knockout rounds. We'll get to that later, though, of course.
Of course. Nick, do you agree with that on Group A? And could we see the host Qatar maybe cause a few surprises? I mean, they won the Asian Cup in 2019, did well in the Gold Cup. They're on home soil. All their players play for pretty much a handful of teams in Qatar. So that's got to help with just the chemistry. But Ecuador, as we've seen in the Premier League with Casado and others, they have some. It's difficult to qualify out of South America. So the fact that they've done that, they're dangerous as well, right? But it'll be probably Netherlands and Senegal. And Senegal is the only question mark is about Sadio Mane's fitness, right? That's the difference between them getting out of the group or going on a really deep run in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm actually really mad about Sadio Mane's injury. I had them as literally the dark horse. The only reason I didn't have them going to a final, honestly, I was going to be my sexy pick, but they're going to run into Brazil now, and they're going to run to Brazil. They would have to run into Brazil without Sadio Mane. They need every piece. I don't know that the depth is there for them. So I'm really struggling with this. Andy's right. I think I'm bumping Netherlands back to the top of the group. I also think I had Senegal winning the top of the group. The way that the bracket shakes out, we'll talk about this a little bit later, winning this group might mean a long run. And that's why I'm so upset, because every year, every World Cup, don't we read about, is this the year an African team goes further than ever before? And I really thought this was the chance. I thought the bracket and Senegal's team with Koulibaly was really going to push it forward. So I will say Qatar for third with a little South Korea 2002 cooking might work.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go through all the groups here. So let's just kind of blaze through them. Group B, England, Wales, USMNT, and Iran. I'm going to pick England and Wales to go through. That might not be very popular in the comments section, but I really think it's a flip of a coin between Wales and the USMNT. And the only reason I'm giving Wales a bit of an edge over this young talented US team is the fact that they have so much experience now in tournament situations. The last 2 Euros, Gareth Bale is fit, Aaron Ramsey's fit, just fit enough and fresh enough, I think, to have an impact at this World Cup. And defensively, I think Wales is one of those teams in a tournament situation that doesn't mind sitting back deep, soaking up pressure. And then they know they've got big players who can deliver. So, Andy Edwards, do you agree with that assessment? Because on paper, this is the toughest group when you look at FIFA rankings in the tournament. But Iran, tough as well, but most people are looking at England to be the favourites. I'm not just saying that as an Englishman, trust me. I've seen so many collapses over the years at tournaments, but they're the clear favourites, and then it's a flip of the coin for the other three in Group B.
Yeah, sadly, I do agree, and I think it comes down to the order of the fixtures as much as anything, especially for the U.S. men's national team. The first game of the World Cup for every single one of these players, aside from DeAndre Yedlin, is going to be a game they have to win. A point would be okay, but if they realistically really want to get out of the group and show themselves to be a threat in the knockout rounds, I think they need to beat Wales. I think Wales are going to come in, obviously, with the game plan that you mentioned there, Joe, set up very defensively. If the U.S. gets to double-digit shot attempts in this game, I think it'll be a minor miracle for them. And so I think they're starting behind the 8 ball just a little bit with the inexperience at major tournaments compared to the major tournaments of Wales. If you flip the schedules around, I might feel completely differently, but it might not be until that second or third game that these young U.S. players start to feel a little bit more comfortable on the stage that they're going to be on.
Quickly, Nick, on Group B, your thoughts?
I think that would be an absolute shame if that's the case, because if they don't win this game, and I mean win this game, they're not going through, and they'll have a new coach by the end of the not by the end of the tournament, but within short order. They have to beat Wales. I'm not saying Wales is bad, but they have to win. I have them coming out of the group. I have them winning this game, and maybe not having much else good happen for them, but yeah, they have to beat Wales.
Yeah, I mean, first for the US, I think basically first and foremost, get out of the group, see what happens. That'll be a success story with a team this young at the tournament. I think speaking from England's perspective now, a lot is expected of this team. Maybe at the last few tournaments, there hasn't been as much expectation. So it'll be interesting to see how, again, a fairly young England team, but one that has a lot of success in semi-finals and finals of the last few tournaments. Can they go that extra step and actually win something? I hope I see it in my lifetime, and I hope it's this tournament, but it's still going to be a really tall order. Group C, Argentina, Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia. I'm going to tackle this and say I think Argentina and Poland, I just think that Lewandowski gives them the X factor over Mexico. This is not the strongest Mexico team we've seen over the last few decades. We know every World Cup they get to the last 16 and then get knocked out. But something about this Poland team, they are really dominant defensively, got some good playmakers, and then Lewandowski is just the X factor. I think if Raul Jimenez was fit and firing on all cylinders, then maybe I'd give Mexico the edge, and that would be a bit of a difference there. But yeah, I can just see Poland pipping Mexico. Do we agree with that? And of course, Lionel Messi, I think, is just going to lead Argentina very close to glory in this tournament. But Nick, anything?
That's all about the first game, Mexico and Poland, and Look, I don't mean to sort of deal in toughness, because Poland's tough too. I think Mexico shows up for tournaments.
Yeah.
I think they rally around putting on that jersey at a tournament, and I just feel like they're going to give CONCACAF that rep by finishing second over Poland. However, it could go really poorly if they don't, because they get Argentina second, and you don't want to go to that third game staring at 0-2.
Definitely. France, Denmark, Australia, and Tunisia in Group D. I think we all agree that France and Denmark are the clear favourites in there to go through. Andy, I want to come to you on Group E. Spain, Germany, Japan, Costa Rica. We saw how good Japan were recently in the friendly, so that's not a given. Spain and Germany will be thinking they're favourites, but Japan could cause some problems here. So what are you thinking, Andy?
Yeah, this is one of those moments I have to decide if I'm going to read what's on the computer screen or if I'm going to make a change at the last second right before I go on the record, because I have Spain, Japan very, very close, flip-flopping second and third in this group. I think this is it's a relatively, at least for people that have grown up in this last decade in the soccer world, this is a relatively weak Spain team. I question center forward, obviously, with Alvaro Morata up there. I question defensively the age and lack of athleticism that they have in the back. So I have a lot of questions about this Spain team. They weren't exactly setting the world on fire during World Cup qualifying, and then they come into a group that's going to be three very difficult and very different challenges as well. We've seen Costa Rica enough in CONCACAF to know exactly what they're going to do. And as good as Spain are in possession, they have to be clinical in front of goal to beat a team like Costa Rica. And I just don't know that they have that. And so they might drop points in a couple of games that you might not expect them to. So I could see them not getting out of the group, but I do think they will just get there in the end over Japan.
Yeah, that's going to be a really exciting group. And talking about that, Nick, Group F, Belgium, Croatia, Canada, and Morocco. Most people, again, would say Belgium and Croatia are the clear favourites. When you look at some of the players that Canada and Morocco have, I mean, Alphonso Davies for Canada, Jonathan David, and then Ziyech, Hakimi for Morocco as well. There's some really good players for both those teams. So that's a scary group, I think, if you're Belgium and Croatia, because you know there's quality players in the teams in those games against them. If it's tight, then they can really punish you. But Belgium and Croatia to go through in Group F?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't help but look at Canada and think it's your first tournament. You're walking in against Belgium. And what's the one problem Canada has? In my opinion, it's their defenders. And is Alphonso Davies really going to be able to commit himself forward, or a player like that? I know they have Jonathan David, but I really like Canada to be under the gun after the first game. The biggest question I have is Morocco. And I don't know. I know it's just one game, but just watching them against the U.S. Has such high hopes. And to see them go down like that really kind of opened my eyes to what they may be in for.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, a bit of upheaval there. Coaching changes. Ziyech is back in the picture. So maybe that will give them the extra boost they need. Group G, Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon. Feel a bit sorry for Cameroon there. Obviously, you had a good African Cup of Nations, but Switzerland, we know, are a very solid team. Always seem to surprise us all right every tournament. We're kind of just like, oh, it's Switzerland. They're solid. They're steady. But some really good attacking players. Xhaka's having a great season, of course. But Brazil and Serbia, I mean, Serbia are, I think, dark horses for many people at this tournament, given the form of Mitrovic, given Dusan Tadic, and some of the other attacking talents they have. So, Andy, Brazil and Serbia to go through in Group G?
Yeah, it is for me. It was difficult to not go with Switzerland because, obviously what they did last summer at the Euros and having predicted them as one of the dark horse teams then, they are a tough, hard-nosed, difficult to beat team. But I think Serbia is just a little bit tougher, a little bit harder nosed, and a little bit tougher to beat. And I think in the end, that matchup right there is going to be one of the games of the group stage just for the combativeness that we're going to see for 90 minutes on the field. There could be a record number of red cards in that game.
And of course, Brazil, we're going to talk a lot about them because they are right up there, world #1 team, incredible squad of players. Can they put it all together? I think they're going to breeze through the group stages. So let's see what they deliver. And Group H, finally, with the group stage: Portugal, Uruguay, Ghana, and South Korea. That is a ridiculously hard group to call. I think Portugal are the favourites given their talent, but then you look at Uruguay, Ghana always seem to turn up for World Cups. And South Korea with Heung-min Son and some of the other attacking players. It's tough, right, Nick? But probably Portugal and Uruguay, given that they have Cavani, Suarez, and Darwin Nunez up top, they can just really punish teams, you would think. But the history there between Uruguay and Ghana is going to be great to watch in particular.
It is. This is one of my kind of surprise picks, and I don't know how crazy you guys will think I am for this, but I have Portugal not making it out of the group. I think Uruguay is my new dark horse. With Sadio Mane's injury, I had to find another dark horse, and I don't know. I look at that Uruguay roster, and this is a really good team. Really, really good. Jose Jimenez of Atletico Madrid at the back. You have Betancourt through the middle. I don't think there's Fede Valverde, and of course Darwin Nunez, Luis Suarez, Facundo Torres, Edinson Cavani. I think they have enough to be able to move guys around. So I don't know, guys. Am I crazy to think Cristiano Ronaldo could bow out in the group stage?
Well, probably not, given all that's gone on around him heading into this tournament. So Portugal,
he'll definitely take the blame, right?
Oh, 100%, like he always does. He's very good at doing that.